as the distance formula. Simple, very simple. By using this, we can just find out the distance between 2 points. If the coordinates are known to us, very important. These two coordinates, all these four things should be known to us, then we can find the distance, or we can say that distance and three of them should be known to us, then we can find one of them, right? Okay. So is this distance formula clear to everybody, or is there any doubt in this? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, ma'am.
Okay. Coming to the next thing, it is very connected to distance formula. So let me write it here only because we have some space here. Okay. Look, I am saying that if we have to find the distance between 2 points, then we can use this formula. I was assuming here that this particular, this one point will be x1 comma y1. So x1 comma y1, you can see that they will be something like 1 comma 1 or something like that, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 3 or something like numerical value would be there. Similarly, it will be for this particular point. If I say that A point is origin, which means the coordinate will be 0 comma 0, and B point is 3 comma 2, right? I have to find the distance between these 2 points. These 2 points are like one is origin and another is this. So my distance formula is further simplified. Why? Because I know that if this is x1, y1 and this is x2, y2, and we know that we have to subtract x1 and y1, right? So if we have to subtract 0, so it would be the same as this. So we can write here, instead of x2 and x1, we can write x2 minus 0 plus y2 minus 0, because we have origin. So we have to write this. Now, what are we left with? Simply this. So this is the distance between a point, like for example, if you're talking about A and B. Now, what is the use of calling this particular point as A? Because we already know that if the point is origin, we denote it as O. So this distance is none other than OB. So if we have to find, the distance between 2 points, in like no one should be origin. Okay. So we can definitely use the upper formula, but by chance we have the one point as origin. So we can definitely just write the distance between the origin and that point will be the square root of the sum of their squares, right? So very simply, we can find out here also in this example 3 and 2. So simply like we just have to do nothing, just square them and add them. So it would be 3 3s are 9, 2 2s are 4, root 13. Simply, root 13 units. Remember, we don't have to use any other unit here, like meter or any other thing. We just write units. If by chance we find the area, we'll use unit square, right? Okay, so this was a special case of distance formula. This is the special case of distance formula where one of the points is origin. Okay, so I suppose this will be clear because there is nothing to, nothing difficult here. So let us move forward. Oh, sorry. Okay. So this was distance formula and one special case of distance formula. Now we come upon section formula. Another very important thing. These formulae, you should know them. Like you should remember them very. You can remember them very easily because they're very easy. Okay. So what do we have about this section formula? Look, for example, we have these two axes. Let me draw it slightly straight. We have these two axes and we have a line segment. Line segment is formed when 2 points, we just join 2 points. So line segment is a line which has ends. It ends on both the sides or the ends. Okay. So here we have a line segment. Let me call it AB. Right? Simply we have a line segment here. Now, this AB is there if we have to find the distance between them. So definitely we can use the distance formula. And we know that A is not here origin. Like none of the points is origin. So we can use the normal distance formula. That's all right. If I say now that here's a point in between, it is not in the middle, like it is not the midpoint by chance. It is a normal point. Or let me suppose that it is even not here in between. This is this line segment. Here I have the point P. Normally I've taken any point P. This particular point has the coordinates x1 comma y1. This particular point has the coordinates x2 comma y2, and this P has, let us suppose, the coordinates x comma y. Here this P is on this line segment, and it is just dividing this AB, this line segment, into two segments. Not equal, because we know that it is these two parts are not equal. It is just dividing them. Now in the section formula, we try to find out what is the ratio in which this point is dividing this line segment. So if I say that, yeah, here it will be M, here it would be N. So in M ratio N, in this ratio, it would be segmenting it. So from here our section formula starts. So basic thing behind this is that if there is a line segment and it has 2 points, terminal points A and B with these coordinates, and if there is a point, so if we have to find out the ratio in which this particular line segment is being cut or segmented, then we can use the section formula. Section means to cut. So in what ratio it is being cut. And now it is not compulsory that you will always get the question to find this ratio. You can sometimes get a question to find the P, the coordinates of the P point. They will be given to you, or one of the coordinates would be asked and rest of the things will be given to you. So you will be given sufficient information to find any other unknown quantity. Talking about the section formula, what it is. So here we have the section formula. See, most generally, the question that is asked is the coordinates of this point, x comma y. Or we can say that the formula that we have is of them, and we can just modify that formula a little bit to find any other unknown quantity other than this. So if we have to find the value of x coordinate of this particular P point, which is segmenting this line segment, then it will be very interesting to find, because here what we do, M x2 plus N x1 divided by M plus N. So in the denominator, for finding both x comma y, for finding the x coordinate and the y coordinate, in the denominator we would have the exact same thing, which is the addition of this ratio. Whatever segments they are, like it is 1:1 or 1:2, 2:4, or any other thing. So we'll just add them. Don't worry about the denominator. The only thing we have to remember is we have to cross multiply. If we are finding x coordinate, then we'll cross multiply this M with x2, N with x1. Similarly for y, M y2 plus N y1. Okay, so don't do like this M x1 and N by x2. No. It is M x2 plus N x1 for x, and M y2 plus N y1 for y. So here, if we know this, if we have to find out this, and we have all the other things, similarly for here, we will get x comma y, which is the coordinate of point P, right? So here, from here, we can find out what are the coordinates of this point P. So this is the section formula. Now, it doesn't like most common question can be this coordinate finding, but if by chance the ratio is asked, then we can do this, apply the same formula. We just have to modify it a little bit. If we have to find some x2, x1, comma y1, or any other thing, we can do it, right? So is this particular section formula clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Great. So now we know that distance formula was specific for, like, if we have different points, we have some different formula, and if by chance one of the point origin, then x1 and y1 or any one coordinate will be zeroed, so other would be the answer. Like, we just have to square the other two, add them, and their under root will be the answer. Talking about section formula, again here we have a special condition, and what it is known as midpoint formula. Section formula is for the, like, if we have the ratio, this m ratio n, this is the ratio in which this particular point is dividing, p is dividing ab in this ratio, right? So if we have this ratio as something which is not 1 1, if we have the ratio as 1,3 or 2,5 or something like that, we can definitely use m comma n, m ratio n, there will be no problem. But midpoint, if we have 1 ratio 1, 2 ratio 2, same m and m is equals to n wali conditions, 4 is to 4, and so on. So we all know that 1 ratio 1 will be 1 ratio 1 only. We cannot simplify it further, but these all can be cancelled out. It is, if it is n going till infinity, if it is n ratio n, then again they can be cancelled out and it can be written as 1 ratio 1. So basically, instead of writing all of these, we can just write one simple thing. And what it is? Simply this ratio, 1 ratio 1, right? So midpoint formula is specifically for that condition in which the ratio, in which that particular p point is dividing the line segment m and n, if it is 1 ratio 1, or now if we know that if this particular ratio is there, so definitely it is going to be the midpoint, because if I'm making like this, and here is a line segment a comma b, if I'm writing here p, if it is 1 ratio 1, it means this distance is equal to this distance, which means AP is equals to AB, which means M is equal to N, the ratio would be equal, which means that we can say 1 ratio 1, simply, right? So here we can say that M ratio N is 1 ratio 1 in the case of midpoint formula. So this is a specific condition of that general section formula. Now, what happens, what modifications can we observe in this particular formula? Again, if we have to find the value of x and y coordinates, what would be the modifications? Now we know that the value of m and n is equals to 1 and 1, right? M is equal to 1 and n is equal to 1. So if I write 1 in place of all these values, so what I'll get? x2 plus x1 divided by 1 plus 1, 2, y2 plus y1 divided by 2. This formula would be simplified to this if the ratio is 1, 1, or we can say that the p point is the midpoint between the line segment, or it is dividing or segmenting the line segment in exactly 2 parts, so we can call it midpoint. And if it can be called midpoint, so the ratio has to be 1 ratio 1. Even if it is any other, like 100 ratio 100, again they can be cancelled out to 1, 1, so there is no worries in that. And we can definitely put the values of m and n as 1 and 1, and we can get this particular coordinate. And once we got them, p, it would be the midpoint, right? So it is a specification, or it is a special condition of this point, 1 ratio 1. Okay, so is this clear? Section formula and midpoint formula to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Now we come upon area of triangle. This is another important thing. Don't give stress to your mind. Just remember one simple thing, that in a, like, if you're drawing a Cartesian plane, if we are just making two axes, and here we are drawing a triangle, right? Definitely, or we can just don't draw a triangle initially. Take 3 points here, here, here. This point has the coordinates x1, y1. This is having x2, y2. This is having 3, y3. Right? Simply. Now, if I join these 3 points together to form a triangle, so can I find the area of this triangle by using these 3 coordinates? Definitely, I can do, because in the previous classes we have observed many other formula, like we know the basic one, half into base into height, or we also know the Heron's formula, in which we used to find something S and then we used to do something. But here in the coordinate geometry, we will be using only one single formula, which is this one, using the coordinates. If the 3 points, if the coordinates are known, then the area can be found out. And area will be here, I'm writing it, half x1 y2 minus y3 plus x2 y3 minus y1 plus x3 y1 minus y3. Area is this. Or let me do one thing. Let me write it here only. So there is no space. Okay. So it is half x1. Now just observe one thing, that we have this. You just have to simply remember this. One important thing to note is that half will come as it is. And now what about these 1, 2, 3, and all these things? By chance we write them in some different order. See, if you're writing them in the order you want, if you're not following this particular order, then you will have to purposely put a minus sign somewhere. Yes?
Ma'am, x3 y1 minus y3 or y1 minus y2?
Oh, so sorry, so sorry. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you so much for correcting me. It is y2.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. Okay. So I was saying, if by chance you want to change your order, change the order. If you don't want to remember this one, then you will have to purposely put a negative sign somewhere. And just don't do that. Simply you can see this. X, Y, Y, X, Y, Y, X, Y, Y. So we have this same thing. In the bracket, we have 2 Y's, and here we have X in multiplication. So there is no other thing. Variables are okay. Numbering, you can just see, it is following an order. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, where then we come to this one, and then again 3, 2, 1. So simply 1, 2, 3, then 2, 3, 1, and 3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2. Sorry. Okay. So here, if we follow this order, there will be no need of changing these plus signs to negative, because it is a hectic thing. By chance you forget, your answer will be wrong. So just follow this order: 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, a cyclic order. Simple cycle: 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay. So here is the area of a triangle. If by chance you have to find out the triangle area using the coordinates of the points of the 3 vertices, right? So we have got, I think, half an hour left with us. So let us do some questions. Okay, so this area thing is clear, because I don't think it needs much understanding, because we are simply in formula is there. Is everything clear up till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let us move to some questions, and these questions are very interesting. Like this is one of the most light-hearted chapter in maths. You'll find it very interesting. Okay. Let us take some questions. We'll do at least 10 questions in this time. Find the value of A. Shall I write the whole question? Okay, I'll write it. Find value of A so that the point 3 comma A lies on the line represented by 2x minus 3y is equals to 5. Now, see, some students who have already studied the straight line, they already know that what is the meaning of a point lying on a line. By chance, if somebody don't know, see simply, if we have a line and if a point is lying on this line, here is a line, a point is lying on this line. What does that mean? It means that this particular, if this line has some equation which has, for example, ax plus by plus c as its equation, general equation, and this point has the coordinate x1 comma y1. So these x1 comma y1 would satisfy in this particular line. What does it mean satisfying? What does it mean? If I'll write ax1 plus by1 plus c, which means if I'll just put the values of x1 and y1 here in the places of x and y, then it would give me 0. So 0 will be equal to 0, LHS would be equal to RHS, which means this line is satisfied. So if a point is lying on a line, it means the coordinates would be, I'm just checking the messages, just one second. So the coordinates, if I'm putting them in the equation of the line, then definitely they will give me 0. And we already have 0 in the RHS, right? So we'll get it. Okay, let me check the chart. Asha, you are telling the answer. Okay. Anybody has got any other different answer other than 1 by 3? They can tell. It may or may not be correct, I don't know. But the students who are present in the previous class, they already know what is the correct answer. Okay. So let us do this. It's very simple.
1 by 3.
Correct. I'm just putting the value directly. I'm not writing any other thing. Okay. 3a is equals to 5. So if we have ax plus by plus c is equals to 0, and if we keep the value of these as x and y1, x1, y1, so we should have 0 as here. Then it will be equal. By chance, if the equation is given like this, here minus c should be written because technically it would be correct. So this should result into this. But I should get minus c here. So this is very obvious thing, but then I was telling. Okay. So talking about what we have here, simply it's very, very simple. 6 minus 3a is 5. So a's value is 1 by 3. 1 by 3. Okay, cool. Let us move to the next question. Question number 2. Find the distance between the points. I'm just writing the point. I'm not writing the whole question. It just wastes the time. We don't have much time to waste. I'm writing the 2 points. Just find the distance quickly and tell me the answer. Quickly, quickly. I haven't got any reply. Is that tough? Is it that tough? Come on. Very simple. Okay, I'm just writing it. Or let us go by the pattern only. I got one answer. Who is this first one to answer? 2 units. Good, Yashasvi. Very good. So it's 2 x2 minus x1. So this minus and minus will get plus. It doesn't matter if you write this first. I already told you. But then 2, I'm just following the convention. 2 minus 2 will be 0. I'm not writing any other thing than 0. And here, 8 plus 2 by 5 will be 2. 2 roots are 4. And the under root of 4 will be 2 units. I expected like more answers, but it's okay. We'll see the next one. Okay. Is there any doubt in the first 2 questions, or can we move forward? Any doubts?
No, ma'am, no doubts.
Okay. If the midpoint of the line segment joining the points, oh, okay. Look, read the question very carefully. If the midpoint, I'm not writing the whole question, please forgive me. If the midpoint of the line segment joining the points, this line segment is joining the points P, which is 6 comma B minus 2 and Q minus 2 comma 4. If the midpoint of the line segment joining these 2 points, which means this line segment is made up of these 2 points, this midpoint is given to us as 2 comma 3. Sorry, 2 comma minus 3. Let us take it R, because we already have P and Q, so let us take it R. So this particular midpoint is R. Find the value of B. P we have, Q we have, midpoint we have. We just have to find the value of B, which is alone unknown. Just find it. Tell me the answer. I got one answer. I want more. Just type it in the chat box. Don't tell if you don't want to. Let me give you more time, but I just want more answers. How many people are present here? Are you all aren't trying? Is this class that boring? Okay, we got 2 chats. Great. -8. Anybody else with any other different answer?
-8.
-8.
Right. Correct. So all of you, very good.
5.
-8. Definitely. It's -8 only. So let us quickly do it also. It is already told it is midpoint. So we will directly use the formula of midpoint, where x is equals to x2 minus x1. Oh, sorry, x2 plus x1 divided by 2. So x2, okay, it doesn't matter, but what have I written here? x2 plus
B minus 2.
x2 plus x1 divided by 2, 4 by 2, 2, y2 plus y1 divided by 2, 2 plus b by 2. Now, what are we doing here? We are finding x comma y. This is the midpoint. We already know that this is the formula for finding the midpoint. So this is the r. This is the way we do it. 2 comma 2 plus b by 2 is r. It was by our method we found out what is the midpoint. But we're uncertain about this particular y coordinate because here we don't have the value of b. But in the question, a help is given that it has already given what is the midpoint. It has given the midpoint is this. So we know that, yeah, this particular midpoint, like this particular x coordinate, we have found out exactly correct, precise, because here in the question it was also given too. But what about this? If we have to find the value of b, simply just equate this and this. Here, 2 plus b minus 6, b is equals to minus 6 minus 2, so it's minus 8. So the value of b comes out to be minus 8. So this midpoint comes out to be, oh sorry, midpoint was already given to us. So if we just write this value here in this 2 minus 8 by 2, it will be minus 6 by 2, which will be minus 3 only. So it would give us the same midpoint. This was our way of finding the midpoint. Midpoint was already given to us. Thus we equated just these two entities and we got the value of b. So is it clear to those people who haven't replied by chance they were not getting it? Is it clear to you all?
Yeah, ma'am, clear.
Okay. Moving forward. Now I just want you all to say once again, Anushka. Okay, Anusha. Okay, Anusha. Anusha, just can you please unmute yourself for a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So where you didn't got, just tell me that place.
From R x comma y.
Okay, here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, go. Look. See, if we have to find, if by chance this wasn't given to us, by chance in the question, this midpoint wasn't given to us, and these two particular points were given to you. Okay, so how would have you but it would have been given that midpoint is there. Definitely midpoint is there. So you already know that this ratio is to be 1:1 only. So it isn't any issue with the ratio part, which means automatically we come down to that midpoint formula. Okay, midpoint formula is this. If we have to find the x coordinate of the midpoint, we have to use this. If we have to find the y coordinate of the midpoint, we have to use this. So if by chance, Anusha, these 2 points are given to you and it was said that the midpoint is particular, we have to find the coordinates of the midpoint. So how would you have done this? Like just tell me in this sense, where x1, x2, y1, y2 are known to you. Just tell me how would we write it. Because we know that these 2 points you can just write it like x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y2. So if I have to find out midpoint, if I didn't knew what it was the midpoint, if I have to find it, so I would have used this. So just tell me what would come here. Like just dictate, Anusha.
-2
-2
plus 4.
plus 4. Just check once again.
Yes, ma'am. y2.
Y2 nahi, x2. x1 plus x2. So x1.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
B -2.
See, this is x1, this is x2, This is y1, this is y2. So if I'm asking you for x2, so it would
It's
be this.
-2.
Okay, okay. So if by chance you are making me write this one, so let me write that first. Now, just look here. It is x1, y1, x2, y2. Now tell.
Yes. It's 6 plus -2.
Good. Divided by
2.
y.
And y is -2 plus 4.
Minus 2. No, this is b minus 2 if you're talking about this one.
Yeah, b -2
Yes, b minus 2
plus 4.
plus 4. Divide by 2. Correct?
Yes.
So here, from here we get 4 by 2, which is 2. And from here we got something which is not exact. Because if we have got some different value, so then definitely we cannot find the exact value. Like here we got 2. 2 is very certain. But here you're not certain that what b's value can be anything. It can be any number from 0 to infinity, minus infinity, any number. So we have to find this. Now, to find this, in order to find b, the question already gave us these two things. These two things were already given to us. It said that the midpoint is 2 comma minus 3. Right? It already said that this is the midpoint. So what are we doing till now? We are finding the midpoint. 2 and b plus 2 by 2 was our midpoint. And in the question, 2 comma minus 3 was given. These two are same because these are the midpoint only. It gave this value just so that we will be able to find the value of b here. Because we know that this and this are same. And if we have to find the value of b from here, we just have to equate the y coordinates. Because here both of them are, for example, if we have them this, so both of them are this only. Just we have to equate these two to find out the value of b. So we'll have, is it now clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if by chance it can give some coordinates, like it can ask us to find the coordinates, it can give them to us as well. Like, for example, it will give us a process, we'll come to a certain conclusion, but it will not be very exact. It will give us the exact answer. So sometimes we just need to equate these two entities just to find an unknown quantity if there's some. Okay, so this is the way in which we can find out the answer. Now, okay, some 9 minutes are left. So let me give you a question and we'll just discuss this one. I think in the last class also we discussed this question. Ouch, this was the last one. Okay, so I'm giving you this question. You have to try it for at least 2 or 3 minutes because it will take time, I think. And once you are done, just tell me the answer. So we'll wait for 2-3 minutes. So the particular question is, if a point is given A, coordinates are given, B, coordinates are given, and C, coordinates are given, are 3 vertices of a parallelogram, A, B, C, D. I hope you all remember what is a parallelogram. It is something like this, slanted rectangle, right? So you will have to remember what are the properties because they will be very helpful in solving these questions, but not very much. A, B, C. A, B, C. These 3 coordinates of the coordinates of these 3 vertices are known to us. We have to find the coordinate of D, which means if we suppose them to be x comma y, we have to find what is the value of x and what is the value of y, and thus we have to find the coordinates of this vertex. Now, try to solve it. Just try to put your brain. Just try to remember what property it had, how we can use, like we have studied only 2 formulas till now, distance formula and section formula. Distance formula, I don't think it will be used here because we have to find a vertex. We don't have to find any distance. So in what way we can use the sectional formula, or would we need some midpoint formula? The people who have already attended this question, they can try it once again if you have forgotten. And the people who have tried it for the first time, just try it. Just put your brains, whatever you have knowledge of the previous portion, just apply it, and then we'll discuss it at 25 or so. I'm giving you 2-3 minutes to do it, and this is the last question we'll discuss today, and then we'll continue in the next class because the next question is slightly big.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
No, sir, I'm not quitting the class. I'm just I have just given them time to solve a question.
Okay. I got it. You're concluding the class.
No, sir.
No problem.
Ma'am, 3,5.
Okay. Just let me see. Okay, cool. Anybody else? Okay, we have some chat also. For sure. Okay, 3,5. Very good. Katha, Prajakta, and whoever, I don't remember who said it like after unmuting. Okay, so very correct. It has to be 3,5. A few people are saying. So let us just 3, right, Saket. Sanket, sorry. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your names wrongly. I don't have any idea. So I'm so sorry. Okay. So who has find out the answer? Let me just see. Thank you so much. Is it Sanket?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Sanket. Okay, so let me ask to Prajakta.
Yes, ma'am.
So how you came to this conclusion that the answer has to be 3,5?
Okay, I'll tell. So basically, we got the property of parallelogram that if we got this if we cut it in a 4 parts, what we call it as a ma'am. Actually, I know that particular, bisects it. So we get its midpoint. Okay, so if we take AC as a line segment and at midpoint as a P, so we have A and we have C. So by midpoint formula, we can get our midpoint P. And afterwards, I took line DB and I put midpoint which we got from line AC, and I put it in midpoint formula again. So here I have to find the coordinates of D, and after putting all those stuff, I got my answer, like
Okay.
3,5.
Great. So are you doing this question for the first time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And
Actually, I'm weak at maths, but afterward you teach us, I got it really clear.
Oh.
Honestly speaking, ma'am, I was afraid in standard 10 that I'll fail in my exam. But
Oh.
unfortunately, I got passed. And thank you for teaching so well.
Oh. No, 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 don't thank me. In 10th, I was also very scared of maths, and I wasn't thinking that I'll take it as like as my subject. But now look, I'm teaching, which means miracles do happen. If we have faith in ourselves and in God, then definitely miracles happen. So just have faith.
Yes, ma'am.
One day you can teach maths. There is no, like, you can see me as an example. I used to get scared out of my wits because I used to, like, this maths was a phobia. I had a phobia.
Yeah, maths
Then
phobia.
a teacher came in 12th. He just taught fantabulously. And yeah, today I am teaching you guys. So all thanks to him. And yeah, that faith is very important. Okay. So I am really glad that I'm able to contribute from my little, like from a side a little bit in your growth. And coming to the question, you have applied a absolutely correct technique. And I hope that all the people who have got the answer, definitely they also have done it the similar way. So see, in the parallelogram, what happens is that what happens in a parallelogram, we'll just discuss what we, oh sorry, it is not B, it is C. So here we have a parallelogram, and I drawn these are known as diagonals. So I drawn these just to tell you that you will use them, you will need them. So what happens in a parallelogram is that if these two diagonals are there, they're cutting at this point. Let us call this O, or any other point you want to suppose it. So this particular part, AO and OC, would be equal. Similarly, DO, OB would be equal, right? So these two will, like this particular O is cutting this line segment BB or BD, this diagonal, and AC into two equal parts, right? AO, OC, DO, OB. So this is an important property of parallelogram, which we read in our, I think, smaller classes, that its diagonals intersect at such a point that the line segments are cut it into exactly two equal parts. What we can derive from here, that if they're cutting it into equal parts, it means O is equals to OC. That means O is the midpoint of AC. Similarly, of BD as well. So this particular point O, origin, sorry, not origin, O, this particular point is, we can call the midpoint. And once we got this term midpoint, the only formula that strikes to our mind is midpoint formula. Now, what happens that what information we have is it matters. Here we have A, what was A? 1, 2. B was 4, 3. C, 6, 6, right? And this we don't know. So let us suppose it to be X, Y. We have to find this. Now we have this information that, yeah, we can use this particular part. We can use the midpoint formula. But in the midpoint formula till now, what we were doing was finding out the coordinates of the midpoint. We never found out the coordinates of the point of the line segment, like the terminal point of line segment. So it doesn't matter. See, here we cannot apply it. We can see that if by chance we had this and this, we could have found out the midpoint. It would be very simple. But we don't have such a case. We don't know the value of this. So we'll use this diagonal instead. Here we have both the coordinates, so we can do as usual, like the way we were doing. So let us do that. If the coordinates are, let it be x1 and y1. So if the coordinates of this particular O is x comma y, so x will be 1 plus 6 by 2, and y will be 2 plus 6 by 2. So it would be 7 by 2, and it would be 8 by 2, which is 4, right? So from here, quickly we got what is the coordinate of O. We got the midpoint. We got this. Now, by using this and this, we got to find out what is this. Now, cannot we find by using this and this particular part? Simply we can do, because we know that this simple, this exact formula will be applied. We just have to find out some different entity and not the midpoint exactly. So just write whatever information you have. You know that we have to apply this formula. This formula won't change. Only the information we have to find will change, right? So now just write whatever things you have. X1 you don't have, so write X1 as it is. X2 is 4 divided by 2. What is X? X we already find out right now is X comma Y. X is 7 by 2. Similarly, Y1 we don't know. Y2 is 3 by 2. Excuse me, I'm taking the class still. I'm just coming in 5 minutes. Okay, this Y is 4. Okay, so let me, we can just cancel out this in this part. X1 comes out to be 3 and Y1 comes out to be, this goes there, 8 minus 3, 5. So instead of finding the midpoint alone, we just find out the midpoint using the AC. And in this particular diagonal BD, we knew this point and the middle point. So we just found out the value of x1 comma y1. It would be x1 comma y1. So our coordinate comes out to be 3 comma 5. So this is the coordinate of the point D, which is the fourth vertex of the parallelogram, at which we did using the simple property which we read quite earlier, that this and this would be equal, this and this would be equal. So this particular point would be midpoint. It can be considered as the midpoint of these two line segments. And thus, if we know some information, we can find out what is this particular vertex. So 3 comma 5 is the answer. Is it clear to every other person whom the answer weren't the response जिन्होंने किया था उनको समझ में आ गया?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Supriya, great. So you're gonna write it if by chance you're writing it. So right now we did some questions only on distance formula and section formula. We have many other questions, but we'll do them in the next class because it's already 6 minutes up. Okay, Anusha. Okay, great. So this was it for this particular class. Just come, just revise and come in for the next class, the formula and all. Because I can ask you anytime. Can you send last class PDF also? Yes, Arya, actually this particular PDF is the last class as well. Because look, I started today's class in the previous class PDF only because I had some extra pages in it. So I'll just send it, no worries. I'm just saving it, I'll send it to Gaurav sir. Just manage with my writing. You already have seen how horrible it is. Okay, anything? Ma'am, when is the next class? Next class would be tomorrow. Most probably, like 99% it would be tomorrow. Okay. So this was it for today. If you don't have any doubts, it's all. You don't have any doubts, right? Or am I assuming it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So this was it for today. We'll meet tomorrow again. Revise and come the section formula, distance formula, and the special cases. And yeah, and the questions that we were saying, like we'll do many questions, don't worry. And we'll also discuss the question papers. Just do one thing wherever you find, and more keep in mind one thing, like for example, if we are doing coordinate geometry right now. So if you will give me, or if you will just send me the questions of previous year question papers or so just try to bring the question of the current topic only, because if I'll do that of straight line or some any other topic in maths, then it would be slightly confusing. So for example, if I'm doing a coordinate geometry, if I'm teaching it right now, you all are studying it. So just try to bring the questions of the same topic. If you have them in previous year question papers or any other doubts you have, just try to bring up this particular topic, what is going on. It would be more convenient to solve it for you and for me. And please try to give it like 1-2 days in prior so that I can solve it satisfactorily. And if you have any doubts, you can just ask me in the next class. Come prepared. I can take a test, or I can ask you. I can just tell anyone to unmute and ask something. So, okay. So can we end the class here? Okay, I think we can end it. People have already left. Okay. Okay. All right. So great meeting you all. Thank you so much for giving your valuable time to this class. We'll meet in the next class, which is tomorrow. Till then, stay safe. Good night. Bye bye all. Good night.